Is he Blaster, a clone, or is he both? Today we're looking at Twincast and Rewind on Way I Got It Figured.
The way I got it figured.
What's up, figure fans? Way I Got It Figured, back with another Transformers Legacy Evolution review. This time we're looking at Twincast Voyager class with Rewind. And it's been a while coming since I've gotten this figure. I bought this figure back, I don't know, in May when it came out, along with Metal Hawk. And I have yet to review either one of them, but we're getting to it now. And I'm finally glad to be able to finally open this figure. So Twincast hails from the Transformers Headmaster series originally. He was the rebuilt version of Blaster, and Soundwave was rebuilt into Sound Blaster. Both figures in recent years have gotten made. Sound Blaster, and of course here's Twincast, with a couple of sort of weird nods in the past, like for example the Twincast that came with Road Rage, Masterpiece Road Rage. So this figure, of course, is a straight repaint of Blaster, but it does have a different face, which we'll get into a little bit here. So looking at the package, you got your artwork that's identical to the Legacy and Kingdom Blaster artwork. Same thing on the side. Your action shot. You got your Legacy poster on the other side. And in the back, you've got your 20 pieces, 20 articulate, and on the back you've got your 20 steps to transform, along with 8 for Rewind, and your Evo Fusion gimmick, which is basically just sticking the electro scrambler to make it sort of like a weird type of antenna. Of course, last but not least, you have the QR code for if you don't have that. You can scan it and get a little text back for the character. Alright, so we're going to finally free Twincast from his cardboard prison and take a look at him. Alright, so here is Twincast with Rewind out. And Rewind, of course, was already removed from the package, which you no doubt know if you saw the Blaster stop motion I did in the Top 10 Kingdom video. So of course, besides Rewind, he does come with the usual electro scramble rifle, and it still does not have a blast effect port. So Hasbro's 3 for 3 on that. As you also may know, I did a video on Shattered Glass Blaster last summer. So, you know, 3 for 3, no blast effect port for Blaster. So unfortunately you can't do it. So we'll go ahead and give him his electro scrambler. And we'll just sort of stick Rewind there for now. So this figure, of course, is the exact same figure as Shattered Glass Blaster, regular Blaster from Kingdom, and first wave of Legacy, but repainted. And he does look cool. I'm gonna be honest, you know, I bought this figure mainly for rewind. Obviously, if you're gonna have blasters, tapes, you're gonna want, you're gonna want rewind. Rewind, of course, is the more popular cassette between him and Eject. Made famous from James Roberts and Alex Milne's Robots in Disguise, More Than Meets the Eye, rather, and Lost Light series. So, Rewind kind of has had, stories done with him. Twincast is actually a little bit more complicated. And again, his initial origin was just being a rebuilt blaster from Headmasters. And in Headmasters, he was called Billy. I don't know why they called him that, but that was his name, Billy. That's how they referred to him. But it was Blaster. And then in Dreamwave, they made him kind of like he was a clone, one of several clones that Shockwave had created when he was in control of Cybertron during the initial Dreamwave storyline. So he didn't really get used because I believe all the clones besides Sunstorm, which was a clone of Starscream, were all destroyed. But that was pretty much it for him. So, as a character that's a continuation of Blaster, essentially, Blaster, rebuilt, I think Twincast is a dumb name. But as a clone or, brother or something like that of Blaster, it's a better name. Twincast works. But it does still sort of make Blaster the original. Like Twincast makes you sound like a secondary person, right? I don't know. That's just how it sounds to me. But I'll digress. So the figure itself, same articulation, same everything, except he's got this smiley face, which we learned about. The sculpt was like leaked well before we actually knew we were getting an actual Twincast. And so before I do comparisons, I want to show Twincast and Blaster so you can see the difference, where he's smiling and Blaster's more stoic. So there you go. That's the difference between him and Blaster. All right. So we'll get them transformed real quick so you can see the alt mode and move on to comparisons. So here is Blaster and Twincast. Here's Twincast and Rewind transformed into their alt modes. And, it's the exact same figure as Blaster. Once again, don't want to, go into the whole idea that it's something different. You can just slot Rewind in here inside Twincast chest or tape deck. And there you go. So like I said, the Evo Fusion gimmick is really just sticking the Electro Scrambler on his back. The spring action on this one is this copy is a little weird. Like, as you see, it's not really opening. My Blaster doesn't do that. but you know, it's okay. Here's a sort of close-up of Rewind as a cassette. And there you go. So now let's do some comparisons. All right, so for comparisons, first we will bring in the Studio Series 86 version of Cliff Jumper. Next, we will bring in the Studio Series 86 version of Hot Rod. Of course, we would be remiss if we didn't bring in Blaster and Eject. And last, but certainly not least, bring in Earthrise Optimus Prime. And it's not until we get to him that, you know, the scale thing comes back. Blaster was not the same height as Optimus Prime. He was around the same height as Soundwave, which is shoulder height to Optimus Prime. So it is what it is. He's not egregiously out of scale, but it does bother me, and I have to mention it every time I see it. But close enough, whatever, it works. I'm not gonna gripe about it. So there's your comparisons. So now we'll move on to final thoughts. Final thoughts on Transformers Legacy Evolution Twincast with Rewind. So at the beginning of the video I asked, is he Blaster, is he a clone, or is he both? Well, in my collection, I think he's going to be a clone of Blaster. Some sort of clone. He's not Blaster, he's a different character. But, you know, it's still the same figure. So when evaluating him as a figure and doing the way I got a figure rank, then I have to give him about the same rank as Blaster. He's not perfect in my eyes, mainly because of the scale. But he's a decent figure. He's more than decent figure. He's a good figure. He's a really good figure. But you're really buying him probably for Rewind. And it was smart of Hasbro to put Rewind with Twincast and Eject with Blaster, because, you know, maybe you might skip Twincast altogether, unless you're just trying to be a, you know, kind of a G1 completist. You might skip Eject. But with Rewind, not with Blaster, then that's going to be harder to skip, because Rewind does have a following amongst many Transformers fans. So for rank, I'm going to go ahead and give him an 8. It's a decent figure, but of course it is a retread, minus of course the portrait. They did give him a smiling face, a smirking kind of face, which I actually thought would have worked better for the Shattered Glass version, but that's not what they did. But at least we got the face. We got 2 different faces for Blaster, so it's fine. So I'm going to hang it up there, and we'll see you guys on the next video. As always, there will be a short stop motion at the end. So look out for that. And I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.
way I got it figured.